The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaraya Productions.
You good?
There was a struggle that just happened in the middle of my chest. Hi!
Welcome back.
Yes, part 2 of X-Aid Month. Part 2. So many... It's really only 2 more weeks after this, but, with a break happening, who knows? But yeah, this time, as I stated last week, we are talking about Kamen Sentai Gorider and Kamen Rider Heisei Generations, Dr. Pac-Man vs. X-Aid and Ghost with Legend Riders. That is an extremely long and unnecessary title.
Maybe sounds better in Japanese.
It doesn't. We're just going to call it X-Aid vs. Ghost.
I have no.
So which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with X-Aid and Ghost.
I really don't have.
Oh, finally, an actual movie.
I will admit this was a breath of fresh air
In terms of
these movies, but honestly, I think you overhyped it a little for me.
Had you not seen it before?
No.
Neither had I.
Well, I know you hadn't. But I wasn't sure if you had.
Yeah, no, I had not.
I think there's a lot in this movie to like.
Yes.
And I think it's one of the better... It might even be the best Kamen Rider movie. But even then, it's not.
Maybe the best Kamen Rider team-up movie.
Yeah, the best Kamen Rider team-up movie. I still say the Forza one is just...
Oh, yeah.
That it exists, so it's automatically better.
I think any movie where we don't have to worry... I think any movie where it's a standalone with that Kamen Rider would automatically have a higher playing field or a better advantage.
It's also just a very good movie.
Story-wise, than having to focus on 5 different Kamen Riders.
At least in this
Well, they don't. There are other Kamen Riders in it, but let's be fair, not all of them are focused on.
Fair enough.
Guy just kind of shows up at the end, and
he kind of has the tenacity for that. He's a space god.
He showed.
Yes.
Actually,
they didn't. I was a little disappointed they didn't actually get Gakusanu on set.
He was out of the country at the time.
It makes sense.
He shows up in the Build X8 movie though.
Okay.
So we'll see him next year.
I was gonna say because they got a body double in the end credits to stand with his back to the camera in the hotel painting.
As you do.
Still better than the most recent Kamen Rider game.
No face.
That game was not good.
No.
Anyway,
watch our stream.
I played through the entire thing.
Stream more or less.
Yeah.
Yikes. But this movie. So, this is an actual movie with actual continuity to the shows that they came from. Because they know each other.
Yes.
Going into it, it's like, oh, I know you. And you're like, oh, I know you.
Because they recognize each other from their drivers.
Yeah, they recognize each other from
because they've never seen each other out of suit.
Yeah. Because it's from the end of Ghosts that they first met.
That's fair.
So in this one, they were just like, sweet, we actually know
You're
each
still
other.
wearing that ugly lime green piece of shit? Oh, I'm sorry, was that out loud?
You're still... Look, at least it's not the Ghost Drive one where it's just like, we forgot everything that happened between us.
Salad.
This one is just like, all right, we have a predetermined relationship, or rather a preconceived relationship that we know that they have. Let's move forward from that point so we don't get the stupid, incredibly stupid fighting that we got from the beginning of Ghost Drive. That was unbelievably just... It felt like it talked down to you.
Yeah.
And this one, like, no, let's just go from here. I do love the fact that it's Pac-Man as the virus at the beginning.
I would have much rather they somehow personified Pong. Because it's the original video game.
That's Atari. They own Bandai. Well, Bandai and Namco.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I wasn't thinking about who owns what. I'm just thinking from a story perspective, if you could somehow personify Pong.
But...
Because since it's the original video game.
They work it into this.
Fair enough.
Because the Pac-Man attacks Ghost immediately.
Because ghosts can kill Pac-Man.
Yeah.
But he's not blue, so he can't eat Ghost. But...
I think they did...
It would have been funnier if he waited until he was in his Newton form. That would have been hilarious.
That actually would have been funny. But I do like the fact that even though they hand wave that, is like, this makes sense for the game.
Yeah, I thought it did. I thought it made sense for the movie too.
Yeah, so it just like it works in both directions. Like he can't transform into Ghost because he ate his ghost powers. Yep. They'll come back later. He's
got to get it back to the home base first.
Yeah.
Which in this movie requires believing in yourself.
Yeah, there was a very stupid scene of Emily yelling, and I'm just like,
I was okay with it.
He's got to go Super Saiyan.
I was okay with it. Oh wait. Stupid. Like the actual scene where Takeru is like, "It's okay, I believe in myself," and he gets his powers back. That was okay. The scene you're talking about, a moment to be more specific, where Emu is just like, ah! Yeah. Where he tries to go full Re, but his back hurts halfway through and he doesn't full go.
It looks so stupid.
It looks stupid, it's shot stupid, it's kind of grinds the scene to a halt, but at least the action scene that happens afterwards is not very good anyway, but okay.
I guess.
That's one of my biggest problems with this movie was the action.
Some of the action is not great.
All of the action is pretty mediocre. It's not very well shot. The camera is too close. The editing is too quick, and the camera's too shaky. At least that's how I felt it was for pretty much every single fight scene.
There were some good ones, but some of them I'm just like.
For as much as they're not shot well, though, I did feel like the stakes were there.
Yeah.
And I do it surprised me that I liked seeing these characters come back, the ones from Ghost.
Yeah.
And seeing them fight unhenshined.
Yeah, that was a good one. Even though Alain and, Spectre just coming out of nowhere.
They do.
They do get, like, their asses handed to them, like...
Were they in the Genma world at the end of Ghost? I don't remember.
No, but they fought Genma.
Okay, because at the end, true, but I'm thinking because at the end of this movie, because they go through a portal somewhere. You don't remember that?
Nope.
Because that happens during the credits when the Ghost cast are saying their goodbyes. Makoto opens a portal and he, his sister, and Alan walk through.
Oh yeah, they probably go back to the Ganma world. Yeah.
Ganma, not Genma, sorry.
Yeah. I will say this. I do like that opening shot because you have that big wrestler guy who's like a huge fan of Kamen Rider, so that's why he's in the movie.
Oh, really?
They're just going through and like...
Is he an actual pro wrestler?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Going through and actually killing everybody. The girl, you recognize the girl.
I do and I don't at the same time. Who was she?
Laiha from Geet.
Shut the front door!
Yep,
what? Nice!
That's why she had that straight sword.
I was gonna say, she was using the same sword, and because I didn't look up the cast because I just wanted to watch the movie.
Yeah.
But the whole time she was on screen, I was like, I know you from somewhere. I know you from somewhere. Where is it?
I forgot she was in this movie. And then she showed up and kicked everybody's ass. And I'm just like, oh, right, I love you. You're amazing. Go all pop off, sis. But yeah, I thought...
She was very good.
We can sort of split this movie in half, pretty much. Because, like...
I think we can, too, because I think the first half is much better than the second half.
The first half was them fighting against Dr. Pac-Man.
Yep.
Them tying it all into Imu's surgery because this doctor was the person who did the surgery on Imu.
Yep. 6
years prior to the story taking place, and when Peridot came out, they got turned into Buxers at the same time.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah. I love this because of the fact that at the time of this coming out, we do not know that Peridot is Imu's Buxter, so they sort of make the shape of him.
I was like, you could definitely see the shape of a person.
Yeah.
During the flashback, but you don't quite
get it.
Get the full fit.
So I like the fact that...
And you don't see Peridot in this movie until after the credits.
Yeah. I enjoyed that. Just like, let's still keep the mystery there. And keep all that going.
Because this is still during the pediatrician arc.
Yes.
So we're still pretty early on in the show.
Because this is before Mighty Brothers comes in. I think...
Because he gets that in this movie.
My favorite thing was, once again, them keeping continuity. When we go and try to figure out who these people are, let's go to our police contact. And that police contact is Tamari Shinosuke.
I do love it when they find natural and good ways to incorporate cameos like this.
Yeah.
Love it when that happens.
They're just like,
we gotta do some research. We gotta go talk to the police. Who do we know that's a police officer? Oh, right.
Who's also a Kamen Rider.
Shinosuke. But when he tries to go with him, it's just like, you don't have your driver. This might be a little bit out of your jurisdiction.
And you can see the look on his face of like, man, I really want to go. But
yeah.
I can't.
I don't want to go.
And that doesn't...
I knew you were going to do that.
And that doesn't stop him later,
I'll hit you later for it.
But yeah.
But this is the opposite. He wanted to go.
No, he's still making a reference.
I know. It's the wrong reference.
But yeah, I enjoyed the first part. Like you said, I think I enjoyed the first part more than the second. Oh, there are parts in the second that I just think are amazing. But yeah, them actually fighting against the giant Pac-Man in the Pac-Man world.
That I liked.
Yeah, it worked. The other versions of the, like, when they get each other's power, and the fact that Dan...
The X8 Damashi and the
Ghost
Gashat.
Yeah, because Dan actually makes that one for him. And I do love that they, like, the bad guys actually go and attack Dan first, because that makes sense for what they were trying to do with the Proto-Gashats. Let's talk about these special versions of the suits. I like the Ghost one. If only because of the fact that I just like all of Ghost jackets.
I don't know. When it comes to the making other Kamen Riders out of the jackets, it's usually hit or miss. And this one is kind of a Neo-Dodge miss for me. Like, close! So close you can kind of skim a shoulder, but... Nah.
Once again, I like the concept of them getting each other's powers to defeat a bad guy.
Yeah, because only a ghost can beat Pac-Man.
As we said earlier. But
it's a game, so they have to use it as a game.
So yeah, I like the concept, and the scene where it happens I thought was kind of cool, but the actual forms themselves, meh.
That looks stupid.
Well, it's because it's level 1.
That one looks okay.
That one looks okay.
I like X8's version of Ghost because it just turns into black and orange. It just looks good. And I like the fact that this time, instead of just putting, armor over or something like that, like they do with the actual level ups, we get a full costume.
Yeah, my only complaint with it
is the gray?
No, is that it kind of looks like the I forgot what they were called in his main show, the brown version of his suit.
Billy the Kid?
Yeah, no, of his suit. We made a comparison to
Ghosts or X8s?
No, that the Ghost version of X8's suit. The one that is on the one we were just fucking looking at.
The Ghost version of X8.
You mean level 1?
No. That picture right there on his screen looks like we were making a comparison to Acorn in our review.
Right.
Oh, Guridon.
You made a comparison to... I'm not saying it looks like Guridon. I'm saying he made a comparison... Oh my god, I can't remember what they're fucking called.
The Loxies?
I'm not talking about game. I'm saying when we were looking at the suits in the review, he said it reminded him of the Acorn suit in Gaim. These are in X8.
Acorn suit. Oh, the ride players.
Then, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It just kind of reminds me a little of that. Jesus Christ. I just forgot what they were called. For fuck's sake.
It's okay.
The amount of twists and turns we took to get from A to B.
You did yourself no favors there.
I'm not saying I did.
We took the freeway to get down the street.
I'm not saying I did, but y'all weren't really good at following directions either.
It's not like your directions were very
No,
helpful.
they weren't clear.
I'm saying there were faults on both sides.
Yeah, we ended up in a lake.
Fair enough. But at least we brought our swim trunks.
Yeah.
But the first part of the movie, I still think, is the better half, with everything happening with Akari and an advanced version of the Buckster virus that happens a lot faster. I'm not sure about how I feel about this being centered mostly around that one guy. At least it's not a kid. I'll give it that.
No, but it is a bratty teenager.
Oh yeah, he's just like always going to make the next game.
One step up.
The weird thing is,
or a step down, depending on how you look at it.
It's like a weird parallel to Kuroto, like this guy was.
You think so?
Except on a much less scale, and he actually feels, sorry for his actions near the end of it. Unlike Kuroto, who is the complete opposite. So I think they did themselves a little bit there. But then we end up going to the second half after we, because they do not get the kid back. It's more just they just defeat the Pac-Man virus. So a whole bunch of people aren't infected anymore. And then we get to the second half of this, where we're in this, I guess, like this medical... It's like one of those surgery arena type areas. I think those are more older things, but they're in like a room in this abandoned building, and Wizard shows up in the most troll-tastic way possible.
He's talking about where he makes the police
where he makes the police disappear, saying that he's working for the bad guys, and he's like,
"Oh, seems legit. Your credentials check out.
We're just gonna work with it." I love it though. I think Wizard in this, because of the fact that it's only a little bit of him, he's still really funny. because he just comes in and trolls people. That's all he does.
I disagree. I got nothing from him in this. Like,
I did.
He's there, but that's about it.
Yeah, and I think that's
he helps. He's there. He helps a little bit. He gets a fight scene, but he doesn't really do anything aside from make them disappear.
Yeah, that's really sort of all he has
to give everyone, to give Takaru and Emu a path there.
Now, who plays this guy? Susanowsuke?
One word.
Yeah, it's just a one-word name. I don't know who he is, but he looks familiar for some reason. Mm-hmm. It might have just been a billboard I've seen like around Japan. But
could be he's a model.
Yeah. I the other three are sort of good in this because they do their job effectively. Mm-hmm. As just
you're talking about the three minions.
Yeah, they're just being there.
Yep.
And then Dr. Pac-Man turns into some monster thing,
like you do.
Yeah. They actually had to use the kid because he created a puzzle game, which they could use to put the two DNA strands together. Sort of makes sense.
And that I liked.
Yeah.
Because, like, here's why we had to create here's why we chose you. It was because your Bugster would have created this puzzle monster, and that puzzle monster is the one who can reconfigure the DNA to make Dr. Pac-Man into the monster that he wants to be.
I like the fact that they actually answered the one question that you should really sort of always try to answer in a movie, at least to me. Why?
Yeah.
It's just like, why is any of this happening? Oh, that's why this... Oh, okay, it makes sense now. Mm-hmm. I get it. Let's talk about the second half of this movie just as a whole. I love the untransformed fight scenes in, like, that factory. Mm-hmm. I just like, seeing that.
There's a lot of untransformed fights in this movie.
There are, and I appreciate it. Like, when...
Because for one, Ghost and... actually, they lose their powers early on.
Yeah.
So they don't have any way to. Yeah,
actually, fight everybody, and then you have the other writers coming in. Anytime Curia appears on screen, it's always with a kick to somebody's face, and I appreciate him for it. Just a jumping roundhouse kick, and I'm just like, that's why you're the best. I appreciate you, Curia. And then the second half is just, all the Legend Riders coming down, them fighting in that factory, and then Gaim comes down through the ceiling with Beltasan.
Ascends from his home planet with Mr. Belt.
I received the message. I heard you needed. Mm-hmm. And apparently, I don't know how Gaim got there.
There was a moment with Gaim that really got a laugh out of me.
What was that?
I forget who it was that says it to him, but one of the writers says, "Well, I guess being a space god has its perks, huh?"
It was because Wizard recognized him, but that was before he turned into space god. Right. So Drive said, "Oh, Kami-sama."
Something like that. But the line is actually like, "I guess being a space god has its perks," and then Gaim just kind of goes, "Yeah." He just gives this little gesture of like, "Yeah, you're right."
He is so nonchalant about this I'm a god thing.
Yeah.
Like, especially with
if I feel like rain, I make it rain.
It's like, who are you? I'm kind of a space god, I guess. Oh,
my lord.
I love when they do little things like that. It's just really funny. I really wish that you saw like Takaru in the background go, "Oh." But yeah, I enjoyed. Even though it's sort of, what is the word I'm looking for? I think this is a problem with them doing these type of team ups so early. Mm-hmm. These monsters aren't really anything, and they're standing up against the final forms of stuff.
Yeah.
I think when they do these
for the purposes, it's inconsistent power levels for the purposes of dramatic tension.
Especially when X8 has pretty consistent power levels, so it's just like, but I don't think it works as well here because you're fighting against Kachidoki, Kiwami, Trideron, Infinity.
There's a lot of form changes that happen really quickly.
I appreciate it
in this whole movie, and I thought it was kind of dizzying. Because it was like, I'm in this form, I do one attack. Now I transform into this form, I do one attack. Now this form, I do one attack. Then my final form, I do a finisher. They're dead.
I think, weirdly enough...
And it happens one right after the other.
Wizard stayed in Lana form the longest during his fight. Mm-hmm. I thought that was just... Because you're right, he did just go into like Flame Dragon immediately, then Ball Dragon, and then into Infinity. Drive.
I couldn't help but ask myself, was all that really necessary?
Yeah, Drive I felt was
it's
a little
overkill, Master.
too much. Guy, I felt like he just didn't need to. Out of anybody, I felt like he was the most. I don't really need to switch into Pine and Ichigo and like Kachidoki and Kiwami. I can see him.
I guess when you're a space god, you just want to challenge yourself a little bit.
I guess, but at the same time,
when at a whim you can just make a big fluffy cat and boom, I have a pet now.
On the plus side, though,
to pick a random example,
during their fights, because their fights were actually a little bit lengthened, we got to hear their.
I was gonna say because for 3 of them we had to hear their full theme song,
and I was like, "This is all I wanted."
Mm-hmm.
this is automatically 10 out of 10. Even though they didn't do, at least I don't remember them doing it. They might have did it earlier in the movie. We didn't hear Ghost, and even though I don't like that one, I was still a little bit disappointed that we didn't hear it.
I was okay with it because that's the one that just happened,
I guess.
And the other ones, it's been year 2, 3 years since we last heard them, so it's like okay, I understand why they did that. I did, however, love when Ghost, like at about the halfway point when Ghost gets his powers back, and that score comes on again. Oh, and you hear the chanting again, and that I really liked. Yeah, great use of that music.
When they do it, it works. Mm-hmm. It works pretty well. And then the the other forms that come into this movie. Let's talk about the Ghost. Like, I'm all of
Makoto and Alan's powers.
I don't know if it was Alan's.
I think it might have just been Makoto's, but it was definitely Tutankhamun and...
Zenkotoitsu?
Yeah.
Yes, this is Zen Buddhist monk, like based on Nobunaga.
Yeah, it's Nobunaga.
Hideyoshi and Ieyasu. I still don't really know where and or why. The form doesn't look bad, it's just gold.
It's golden teal.
Brass?
It's like golden teal.
Yeah, I would go with golden teal. It doesn't look... it's definitely not...
It doesn't look bad.
No, it doesn't look bad. It just sort of came out of nowhere.
He's definitely looked worse.
It comes absolutely out of nowhere. He does a couple attacks with it, and then he kills the bad guy.
See, I would have preferred this to be the ultimate form in the actual show, besides the crystal rainbow mess we got.
Which he uses and also loses. Those really consistent power levels. But
X8 didn't have his ultimate form yet, I believe.
No, so he gets Mighty Brothers in this movie, which sort of doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
What were you saying about continuity and canon?
This one it's weird because this is mostly canon to the show, but then the second part happens.
And then the second part happens.
So it's like the first part is canon because we, figure out everything that happened with his actual surgery.
They ignore it with the power of lampshading.
Yeah, but then as soon as it gets to the actual Heisei Generations part.
I don't know why, but I had the mental image of X8 sitting in a corner with a lampshade on his head. Just ignore me. Move on. I'm not here.
Well,
I don't know why that mental image popped in my head.
Well, that happens for a little bit in the Gorider movie.
Valid.
We'll talk about that. And then Takaru, I guess his body just couldn't take all the Buckster and the fighting, and then he almost dies.
And then he legit dies, and then he has to.
And then X8's like, "We're not doing a show again. It sucks."
Am I a terrible person for when Takaru collapsed? The first thing that went into my head was, "Oh no, not again."
This is the first thing I thought. It was like, "Oh, we already did this. What if we didn't?" But yeah, and then pretty much
don't you fucking dare.
I didn't think it was a bad scene, though.
No. Just funny. Like, for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I still enjoyed this movie, though.
I enjoyed it, too.
I still think it's the best out of the crossover because I don't really like the build X8 one as
much. But when you say it's the best of the crossovers, is it really saying much?
Yes, I think so, because so many of them are... Episode of this,
that's
20 minutes of us fighting together.
My point is that it's not hard to be the best team in the movie when you actually fucking try.
It's not an accomplishment that I think we should overlook.
No.
But I don't think we should be giving them a plaque.
Like they did it for Drive.
We'll give it to them for now. And
we'll give them a participation trophy because they actually participated in a crossover movie.
I'll tell you what we can do. We can tell them to make their own plaque and they can feel good about themselves.
But yeah, that's the end of that movie. I definitely recommend watching it if you haven't seen it.
I would as well.
I just think it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
And the cast work well
especially
together.
if you like either show.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever used this term to describe anything you've watched. It's real memeable.
Yeah. Pretty much anything associated with X8 ends up being a meme, though.
Valid.
Because of Dan Kuroto.
But
there's this one scene, not necessarily meme-worthy, but I thought was really funny that happens early on when the director is talking via Skype to Takeru, Akari, and Hiro, and I forget the other doctor's name, the guy...
Tiger.
Yeah, no, the other guy, the head of CR.
Oh, his dad. Here's dad.
Oh, are they... Really?
Yeah, that's his dad.
I did not know they were related.
Yeah.
And I watched X-Aid.
Yeah.
I don't remember that ever coming up once.
We never really talked about it, but I like the character.
But when the director is like, so, Doctor, what's going on? He's like, well, about that. Hiro, what's going on?
I loved it.
Every question was like, so about that, Hiro? You're smarter than me. What's going on?
What was the movie? Hot Fuzz? That sounds like Hot Fuzz. The one cop who's like, here's what we do. Angel, help me.
But yeah, I still like it. I thought it was fun. It's a good movie. And now we can switch over
to the not good movie.
To Kamen Sentai Gorider.
Can we just talk about part 3? Because that's the only part worth talking about.
Well, no, because the first 2 parts...
It's the only part where anything happens worth talking about.
But everything is led up and...
I don't care.
We're talking about parts 1 and 2 and 3.
Parts 1 and 2 have an interesting setup, but they're boring and I don't care.
I still think that the mystery of everything happening, especially because what happens at the end of part 2 that leads into part 3.
Yeah.
Where you figure out that it's...
Honestly, if you watch part 3, you get a flashback explaining everything, so you just need to watch that.
Because part 1 sets up the mystery. Oh, why are these number here off of this?
Why are we on a
island in
the amusement park island in this? Which, to be fair, I really like the setting.
The
production crew found a theme park in its off season and just shot there. Is what it feels like, but made a good use of it.
Yeah,
I kind of like the idea of having a theme park all to yourself that you can just explore in. That'd be fun.
Then all the introductions of the other riders. But I think the most surprising one, because Kenzaki loves to come back nowadays. Like him and Faiz just come back every once in a while.
Kenzaki is
Blade.
Okay.
But yeah, having another Agito come back, that was
a little surprising.
Yeah, that was.
But at the same time, it's like, all right, good to see you.
It's great to see you. A character who's in 7 episodes of Agito.
He does a good job in this, I think.
I
think all the actors do a good job. Like, especially like Baron, it's good to see him again.
Marika.
And to see, one of the things I liked about this is the way our now deceased riders have seemingly changed as a result of death.
Yeah.
Because it's like death has given them new perspective.
Yeah.
Because Baron, he seems a little more, like, he's more willing to help.
Yeah.
He's more willing to play with others.
Yeah.
And then Marika seems to have softened up a bit.
And sort of, I'm not going to say...
Which I like. Like, seeing her smile was kind of like, oh.
She says, like, one line early on, just like, I saw your thing now through to the end, which is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go and do my own thing for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I appreciate character growth. It was great seeing Kenzaki. I just love seeing the actor. He got into, like, some motorcycle accident a couple, like, months beforehand that did something to his face, but I guess they did really well.
Around it.
Sounds like what happened to Mark Hamill.
Yeah, they did really well.
Star Wars and Empire.
With his stuff, and then, Kiryu coming back near the end of it, and that whole thing with the candles, and the weird poppy that's there. And I love that scene with the mirror.
Yeah.
Like, you see it early on that Emu has a reflection, but the camera is turned in such a way that you can't see anybody else who's supposed to be in the mirror. And then that revelation at the end of it, I just thought that was shot really well.
Oh, dear vampires.
Yeah, it's just like, why do you have a reflection? Oh, you're alive. Why the hell are you here when none of us do? I was just like, oh.
Because I am undead.
And then they sort of turn on him. But the thing that they sort of lampshade at that moment is the fact that you realize that Kenzaki's also supposed to be in the mirror because he is technically not deceased.
Which I didn't know.
Yeah, he's just undead.
Yes,
from Blade.
Because I still haven't watched Blade.
Yeah,
but I recognize the costume. But
so I was like, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, why is he not in the mirror? So I recognized something else was going on behind the scenes. And then as the story goes and Blade ends up basically killing Emu at that moment, who has the longest death, Ryuki levels of death, of running around. You just got pierced through the stomach and the back. Sir, what?
How big was... I can't remember. How big was the impaling object?
It's Blade's blade. That's pretty large.
Blade's sword, yeah. Through the stomach, out the back.
Yeah. It's still not as bad as the Ryuki in terms of injury. I can almost...
Where he just got straight up pierced.
He got pierced by a spike that was the size of his stomach, of his chest, in terms of diameter.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I'm curious about the medical science behind whether or not you could...
He's a doctor. Ask him.
What was I say?
Because I know, and I'm overthinking this way too much, and I don't give a shit. When you're stabbed, if you keep it there, it kind of keeps shit in place.
Yeah.
Stabbing.
The worst thing you can do if you're
He pulled it out though.
Yeah, pulling it out is one of the worst things you can do when it comes to a stab wound. I realized I phrased it a certain way. That's why I made sure to add the rest of the sentence on there.
Yeah,
a stab wound?
left it there.
Yes.
But
pulling it out is the worst thing you can do.
Well, it depends.
Anyway,
we are not a family-friendly channel.
What is your
never
end?
have
It
been.
depends on what your end game is.
fraggers. Anyway,
you don't have to worry about that. You're fine.
I know I'm good forever. And then we find out that the Blade who's actually been here this entire time is Dan Kuroto. Because that man has nothing if not multiple save files.
Oh, goodness. Dan in this freaking special.
I love him. I just love him forever.
I'm sorry. Did you was he too tame for you last time? How about licking blood?
He's just insane.
How about licking blood?
He's just an insane man. And I love him. I love him forever.
I think there's a limit, and he
blew
past
not with Dan Kuroto. There is no limit. The limit does not exist. That's why he's level X.
I'm gonna fucking close your computer. And
I didn't make the rules. But yeah, and then we get to part 3.
AKA the only good part.
Where, well, actually, at the end of part 2, we find out that
because 90% of part 3 is just Dan Kuroto being just taking it to 15,
which is
on a scale of 5,
which is always the best part for him. And then, like, at the end of part 2, we find out that a whole bunch of bugsters have been attacking the city. And they're really hard to kill right now because of a possessed console.
Because the first 10 minutes of episode 3 is just him monologuing about his master plan, and endlessly just he's feeling himself. The man is feeling himself. He is getting into this
as he should.
He is relishing in every single word that comes out of his mouth. He's taking that word and he's just rubbing it all over his body. And then he's the kind of performance this feels like.
Then you figure out, with Emu's past thing that he left in a broken piece of mirror, that he figures out that it was Dan Kuroto.
Which that I liked.
And the other, the actual Kenzaki shows up at the end of part 2. And when they go back into the game world, they're after they fought all these things, they're really damaged.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan comes in as Kenzaki. Emu comes back with his memories this time around, saying, "Wait a minute, you're a fake." And then the real Kenzaki comes in.
Yes,
shows
he is a fake.
Yes, because he's in the mirror.
Yep,
I love that. I think the mystery.
Because Kuroto's master plan is I am taking the despair of the dead people and I'm using that to refuel my resurrection.
Yeah. And then he ends up having to shift gears to saying, I can get you all back too. If only you help me. And they're like...
That happens after the world crumbles.
Yeah,
because he's this huge... It's this 10-minute monologue of him being like, yes, my plan. And then all of a sudden playing cards everywhere. And...
I love how
Blade is just like, yeah, no.
You done fucked up because you used my powers.
You used my powers. Well, I'm an undead. I'm drawn to an undead. And not only am I undead, I'm a joker. And when a joker is the last undead, the world ends.
Yeah.
And the little break that happens on Kuroto's face of I'm sorry, what? Huh? World ends? And then everything collapses. And he's just hearing him scream, Yamada! As everything is crumbling around him, just no, my plan!
My plans!
Everything was going according to Kenkaku, and then...
Ruined my plans?
They ruined his plans.
You ruined my plans? Oh, are you? Yes.
And then,
so it would seem.
They ended up having to fight the actual bad guy who was like that weird poppy. I love how Emu started to realize that it was a game though.
Mm-hmm.
Like that moment where you're just like, wait a minute, everything's refreshing.
Yep.
She can't interact with us. She just does what she's supposed to. There's only one type of drink here.
You can't touch the NPCs.
Yeah, you can't touch the NPCs. And then it like, oh shit. There should be a tea spill here. There isn't.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell happened?
Mm-hmm.
I love that moment.
It was good.
That's why I liked parts 1 and 2 because that mystery is constantly set up of like what's happening here.
It's kind of like the X8 show in general. You need it takes perspective.
Yeah,
it's all about perspective. It's all about looking at where you wind up to look back on where you were.
Yeah, and I think that's what made me appreciate this special because I actually like this special.
Fair enough. Okay, so do we want to get into? So then everyone is like, we're Kamen Riders and we're great, and then they all henshin and then they all fight. But then it's like, whoops, we're getting our butts kicked. And then we get...
the tie-in to Cho Superhero Tyson.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yes.
Okay, because we get Kamen Sentai Gorider.
That's why I wanted to watch this one prior.
It's, he meets a Sentai Go Ranger, but they're Kamen Riders. And using their new abilities, our four deceased riders plus Blade are able to fight the bad guys. And
what was the name of that anime? I know there's
Samurai Fumika?
No.
That's the
First of all, nice. I love it. It was called Chinese Electric Batman. It was like the...
Are you talking about like an anime within an anime?
No, I'm talking about an actual anime. People called it Chinese Electric Batman just for fun.
Oh.
It's that anime that came out in college, and then season 2 came out, but no one acknowledged the existence of season 2 because it was awful.
Tiger and Bunny?
No.
Well, back to this.
Yeah, sorry.
I do love the Kamen Sentai.
I'm doing to this what everyone in college did to that. It does not exist.
I love the Kamen Sentai, like some of the stuff that happens, specifically when they do the ball. They
brought that stupid football back.
I love it because that's such a
They brought the football back.
I love it. I think it's amazing. I think it's such a staple.
It's Kamen Riders as the Go Rangers using the football, and X8 is running around like, ooh, pass me. After every single pass, they keep cutting back to her, and then finally he's like, no one's passing
I love
to
that.
me.
I love that.
And he's all sad.
I have a screenshot of it.
I'm sure you do because he's in his level 99 form. So it's this big old body with a tiny head going,
pass.
He's all sad.
Darker than black.
Oh, I never watched it.
You can literally Google Chinese Electric Batman and you just get darker than black images.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what I did.
I never watched it. But yeah.
Apparently season 2.
I think I watched the first season. I never watched
season 2 is apparently really hated. And people are like,
Isn't it called Darker Than Black 2?
I don't know, but I remember Calvin going, I can't wait for season 2 to come out. No, but and then he goes, I can't wait for season 2 to come out. I'm like, I'm watching it. I can't wait for. Okay, I get it.
An attitude I've never really understood.
But yeah, I like.
Let me take that back. Let me take that back. An attitude I've always thought was stupid.
You never try to understand Calvin.
No, this is not just him. This is something other people have done.
I know, but I gave up on trying to understand that man a long time ago.
But yeah, I enjoy the Go Ranger special just as a whole. I think it's fun.
I like the Dan Kuroto show starring Kuroto.
So X8?
Kuroto-san.
So for the last part, X8.
I was just gonna say the third episode of this thing.
I enjoyed the entire thing because
and the monologues and him screaming and him just taking it to 15 and
I just enjoyed the mystery that was set up.
Yeah.
And the fact that we actually got, why is this happening? Again, just like the movie.
I like the setting. I like the character development we get for the returning characters.
Yeah. The shocker people just
I really couldn't get into it. Like, I kind of like the setting and the return, but I just couldn't get into it. And it lost me so fast after a while.
After Kamen Sentai Gorider shows up?
No, after Dan Kuroto show starring Kuroto-sama bullshit. Like, the moment he showed up, I'm like,
that's the best part of whenever he shows up, though.
I just started rubbing my temples and
I just love that.
I don't have the mental capacity.
If for a headache chart, it would be a red line.
I just love that man. I just think he really can't do any wrong in my eyes. When you get that many figures of you doing a backbend, I feel like you've done something
I'm not saying he's not...
He does wrong, but it just feels so right.
I'm not saying he's not the closest thing to a live-action JoJo in real life.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of his poses. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, not my cup of tea.
You know what's all not going to be our cup of tea? Next week.
Oh boy.
What is next week?
We're
So
doing
next week we're going to be reviewing.
We're doing Cho Superhero Tyson.
We haven't reviewed that yet?
No, because when we did the original Superhero Tyson movies, that hadn't come out yet.
It's been so long since that came out. I assumed we'd already did it.
Nope. So we're doing both that and the actual X8 True Ending movie.
Okay.
So that'll be out next week. That'll be fun. At least the second part of it. The first part will just be pure anger.
I guess I'll have to watch the movie
The
then.
movie's the opposite of good.
Oh, we'll find out. Who knows?
yeah.
I might like it.
Join us next week for part 3 of X8 Ma. And then we have one more part after, which will be coming out after Christmas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be coming out,
And that'll be the trilogy.
yeah. The
Oh,
last
this-
part of X8 month will be January
This is a
10th.
Superhero Tyson movie I haven't seen. Okay. For some reason, I was thinking Cho Superhero Tyson was the second one.
The GP.
No,
Or
we've done
Go
that one.
That's Tyson Z.
That's Z.
That's Z. Okay.
Well, the one with Go Busters is the first one. Kyoryuger and Wizard is Z.
Right. That's right. Sorry.
And then there's the Kamen Rider Grand Prix,
Which
I've
is
seen-
Drive.
Yeah,
which
which
is
I've seen
Drive,
that.
and then there's this.
I remember that one because, oh my god, we got Drive set
there
Rider
was
kick for
there
the
was
second
one more,
time.
the Showa versus Heisei Kamen Rider movie, which happened.
Yeah, but that's more that's Kamen Rider Tyson, not
It's still
not,
trash.
not
He
everybody.
projected a flower, Marcus.
That's why.
They're the better Kamen
But
Riders.
this movie is the one that we'll be
Sorry.
doing next.
Oh, in the words of Narutaki Honore Takeda, why are Kamen Riders so awesome?
This is the one that we'll be doing next. I'm not excited to review Superhero Tyson, so just Cho Superhero Tyson. So come back for the anger. But I am a little bit more excited to talk about True Ending.
Stay for some reason.
I am a little bit more excited to talk about True Ending. So that'll be the next part of movies. And then on January 10th, we'll finish off X8 month with the trilogy, the Snipe special, and the Brave special.
Mm-hmm.
So ending those together. So we can actually get Snipe's backstory.
But let us know what you think in the comments down below. Follow us on all the things. As always, we will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.